Okay. Perek Ches, Kilayim, Mishna Aleph. Klaya Kerem. So we said this Klaya Kerem, that's a vineyard. Asurim Milizroyo, it's also to plant. Umilakayim, and it's also to keep it. Meaning, as we had in the previous prokim, if somehow the wind blows or something like that and makes seeds get mixed in, so then you have to get rid of it. Basurim bahana, and it is also bahana. Klaizroyim. Klaizroyim is klayim of just regular vegetables, let's call it. Asurim milazroyim l'kayim, you're not allowed to plant it, and you're not allowed to keep it. Umutarim ba'achila, but it's mutar ba'achila. So the difference is a klayim b'kerem is also ba'ana, and other klayim is mutar ba'achila. For sure, it's mutar ba'ana. Klayim begodim, this is the first that we're discussing. Klayim begodim. Klayim begodim, that's what we call shatnez. Mutar b'chol davar is mutar for everything. Be'enan asurin elo milubash, meaning you're allowed to use klayim. You're allowed to get enough from Kilayim, you're just not allowed to wear Kilayim. Kilay behema, that's a Kilayim of a behema, mutarim legadol ulakayim. It's mutar to be megadol Kilayim and to be mekayim it. Right? Meaning, you're allowed to have in the same farm, same, what do you call it? Corral. You're allowed to have two types of animals, ulakayim, and you're allowed to keep them. Meaning, if they decide to be together, meaning if they decide to mate themselves, you're allowed to keep the result. And the only issue is for you to mate them yourself. Klai behema, surim zebazeh. Right? Klai behema is also to each other. Meaning, if you have, there's a long rav here. So if you have a mule, what? You have a mule, and it gives birth to a horse, and then that horse is together with a donkey. That's mamish. This is Yavamis of animals, right? So you got a mule, right, that came from a horse and a donkey. So if the father's a horse and the mother's a donkey, then you're not allowed to take it and put it with the father's a donkey and the mother's a horse. Meaning, even though they're both mules because they were crossbred, but it has to have the same. I don't know what the word is. Genealogy.
But Yaakov, why would it matter? They can't produce anyways.
Why would it matter?
I'm saying the whole point of Kilayim is to produce, correct?
Yeah.
They can't produce either way. A mule is infertile.
So maybe that's not a good example. Maybe it's not a good example. Okay, whatever. Any type of animal like that, meaning the father has to be equal with the father and the mother has to be equal with the mother. Yeah, so that's basically the Mishnah goes through a few of these examples of the different Kilayim. So again, Klai Kerem, Klai Zroyim, Klai Begodim, and Klai Behema. Kilayim in the Behema. So Mishnah Beis, Behema and Behema, V'chayim Chaya. If you have a Behema with a Behema, right, look like a sheep and a goat or something like that, and a Chaya, let's say a deer with a what's another chaya? A lion. Behema im chaya.
Kvi.
What?
Kvi.
Kvi or a koi, whichever way you want to pronounce it. Right? Behema im chaya. If you have a behema with a chaya, v'chayim im behema, tameya im tameya, not a treif animal, not treif, whatever we call it treif, but a non-kosher animal, tahira im tahira. You are not allowed you're not allowed to plow with it, you're not allowed to pull it, and you're not allowed to ride it. So any of these combinations are not allowed. Right? One type of aim with another type of aim, one type of chaya with another type of chaya, tamea with a different type of tamea, tahira with a tahira, tamea and tahira, right? All of those things. Any one of those combinations is awesome. Right? Okay, Mishna Gimel.
I could have two different avodim pulling my wagon.
There you go. Yeah. I guess. Right. Okay, Mishna Gimel, Hamanik Savikas Arbaim. Somebody who rides them, meaning who leads the animals that are Kilayim, gets 40 Lamakis. By Yoshu Bakar and Savikas Arbaim. And that's a guy sitting in the carriage, whatever thing, he also gets 40. The mayor potter, but the mayor says it's potter. Meaning the guy sitting in the wagon, according to the mayor, is potter. Shlishi, she kshura l'ritzuas, and if the shlishi, meaning if there's a third animal that's tied onto these two animals, so then it's asura. Then it's also asur. Right? Meaning, if you have two animals that are the same, and then you have a third animal that's really just agav, he's just hitching a ride, let's call it that. So when he's hitching a ride, it's still Kilayim, even though this wagon will ride just as well without him, but it's still going to be Kilayim, so it's awesome. So this Mishnah is saying basically that you get Malchus, for sure the one who leads it. The one who's sitting in a wagon is a Machloikis Tanakama Rameir, and if you have this third party animal that doesn't seem to be doing much, is still going to be Chayev for Kilayim. Okay. All right. Sharry Teshuva. Okay, we are almost finished. Sharpay's ice you test. Yeah. So again, he's continuing what's going to be with the neshamas after the next world. In the Chol Anshe Levov, anybody who has a heart, yeah, should look at this world like it's a dira sarai. He should only be mishtamish for the avodas haboire. And the whole world, this whole world is just to prepare tzeda, food, literally for your nefesh, which is exactly what fasting is. Essentially, we should be fasting always. Obviously, we can't because we need that energy. But the reason why we should be eating is not for our enjoyment. It's just to give us energy in order to avoid this abayre, in order to have tzeda for the next world. Right? So because if a person would live for a long time, right, and even if he would live 1,000 years twice, meaning he would live 2,000 years, since there's only a finite amount of years to his life, right? So meaning it's you're gonna eventually expire. Meaning everybody expires, no matter how long you're going to live. You're gonna have everybody has an expiration date. But the Olam HaGemul, meaning the next world, doesn't have any. There's no end in it. Right? Because my years, the Shnois Mispar are going to come, meaning the amount of years that I have, and I'm going to go in a way. I'm going to go in a way that there is no return. Right? So then, of course, if a person's days are like the passing shade, Kinyan Shenemar, a person's years are like 70 years. Right, his days are like a passing shade. It's not like the shade of a wall or the shade of a tree which stays for a while. It's like the shade of a bird, or for those that live in Farako, you can say it as a plane. right? It goes over for a second. A person has to approach this world as so fleeting that it's fleeting like the shade that a bird makes or a plane makes or anything like that. Person has no idea if today he's here and tomorrow he's in the cave. And we find that if he keeps pushing himself and then pushing it off till tomorrow, right? That means he's being mitzvah on a world that doesn't belong to him. Meaning you keep pushing it off and keep thinking that I have a long life. I got plenty of time to do avodah sabayra. So then you're basically pushing off your life for nothing, right? Don't trouble yourself with the problems for tomorrow because you don't know what's going to be. We had this also in Orchot Tzadikim. Meaning, what are you making yourself nervous about what's going to be tomorrow? You don't even know if tomorrow is going to exist. Right? So what are you making sugar? Just do today what you're supposed to do and finished. Right? Okay, stop over there.